Okay, so next topic, pantheism. Pantheism is God is the entirety of existence. Okay, so we aren't separate from God, we are God. And all things are interconnected. And being a part of pantheism makes you feel a sense of compassion because you are all interconnected, and you feel like you belong. So it sounds good, right? I personally think it sounds awesome until the guest speaker / professor had to bring up how there's a bad side to it. Of course, there's always a bad side to something good, right? So the bad side of it is that, well, if we're all interconnected and God is in all of us and we are all God, then God would bear a presence in people like pedophiles and Hitler and murderers. And personally, I think those are just people who don't have empathy. I don't understand that. I think that has a lot to do with the way that they were raised, sort of. I don't know. I remember when I took sociology and we were learning about Ted Bundy, and I had never really knew anything about that individual. And then I read a lot about him, and then I watched this movie made after him. I'm pretty sure it's probably called Ted Bundy. And apparently he's this good-looking man who just liked to take a certain type of woman and torture her and then murder her. I'm not saying that looks matter because they don't. I kind of found it entertaining at the fact that they really, really, really concentrated on, well, he was such a good man, good-looking guy. Like, he could get good-looking women. Why did he feel like he needed to murder them? And I was thinking, well, probably has nothing to do with the fact that he was good-looking. I mean, I'm sure he didn't even care about his looks. Just like anybody shouldn't. But then again, that could correlate with, well, then you're probably a psychopath. Sociopath, I think that's what he was labeled as. But I think that it goes deeper than... I don't like the way of that example of being a bad side. Because what I was thinking is, let's just say pantheists, I guess they would be called. Let's say that they are onto something, okay? Let's say that they notice that these other two general ways to think about God, they're witnessing a following that is very controlled and manipulated. So what they're trying to do is use that to their advantage, but in humanity's advantage in a positive light. This is how I was thinking, because I feel like by saying that everybody is interconnected and we are all one is really a positive way, and I think it makes people feel really good, and they want to do good things for people. They want to open doors, and they want to pay it forward, and they want to love, and they want to express themselves, and really listen to people, no matter what they look like or where they come from, or their status in society. I think it really just abolishes separateness. Okay, that's my opinion. I could be completely wrong. Other people might look at pantheism in a completely different aspect, which I appreciate. But the way that I was looking at it is let's say that they were onto something, right? And so they're trying to use this way of God in a manipulatory, positive way, if there's such a thing. I know that's like really close to crossing the line there, and I may have crossed the line, and I might have completely lost you, but just hear me out. What I was thinking is, what they're trying to do is, instead of being like, okay, listen to me, and use power and status as a control mechanism, they're trying to give you the control and power within yourself in a positive way, in a loving way, in a beautiful, interconnected, caring way with your neighbors and your family members and strangers, by giving you the chance to know that we're all equals, I guess. Okay, and then I know that they start saying, oh, well, what about these bad people in our society? Well, what I think is that these were bad people because of the other things that they followed, okay? Because they didn't believe that everybody was interconnected. And so what the pantheisms are trying to do is avoid that ever happening again. They're trying to like create a revolution. I can't believe I almost forgot that word. A revolution, and say, okay, this is what we're going to do for change. We're going to start making it known, have it be known in people that we are all from God. We are all God. We all share the same spark of life, the same mystical amazingness from our Creator. So nothing should separate us, right? And when you think like that, you can't help but feel like this warm, loving feeling come over you. It feels good. And it makes you want to be closer to other people because they are you and you are them. And you're connected. And that creates a community of love and looking out for one another and togetherness. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It's just the way that it has affected me. And I didn't know that there was a name for it. Pantheism. I should probably look into it a little bit more, but I was really bummed because the way he expressed it was like, this is actually probably the best out of all of these three ways to think about God. That it's all in us, and there's no reason for race or sexuality or religion, whatever. There is no or status or location, and there's just no reason for us to feel better than the other person or judgmental. It's the thing that kills me the most is everybody has insecurities because of certain reasons, which I have expressed in my other videos. And I really wish that because of those insecurities, instead of using it against other people, people would be like, okay, I can relate to that person because I have those kind of insecurities too, except I don't wear them on my sleeve. I try to hide them. And if anything, you should give them props and I almost am grateful when people can stand up for themselves. I see an insecurity that somebody has, or I see something that I'm insecure about on another person, and they're just like kicking ass. They're like, they don't let it hold them back, and they're up there and they're doing their thing and they're kicking ass at life, and they're loved and they love people. And I think about those days where I'm just pity partying myself, and I'm like, gosh, this person is so inspirational because they have something that I'm insecure about, and yet that doesn't bother them, and it shouldn't bother them because like pantheism, we're all the same. So these outside appearances or maybe the inside heartbreaks or emotions and bad experience we've gone through, if we just could really fully grasp that we are really not alone, we are all the same. And I'm not saying in particular, I hate it when I say this to someone, then they're like, no, you're white. You haven't gone through the shit, or you had a family that grew up with money. I never did. You have no idea what I'm going through. I don't want to use the word hate, but I strongly disagree with that because obviously I don't know the exact emotion that you went through every day of your life, and I will never, and nobody ever, except for you. The point is that I can empathize because I, just like everybody else, has gone through some hard times. Now, whether it's like, wagering, we're both at the same because of the same or non-same experience, shouldn't matter. The point that I care, and I'm here, and I want to be there, and there's so many other people that I do too, is like, that's it. I love you because I love you. And you should love you because you're you. Fuck all the other shit that went on. Fuck the way that assholes and, ignorant people treat you because they haven't yet realized or, admitted to themselves that they are just the same as everybody else. Everyone's gone through trials and tribulations and strife. I've talked about this, okay? So when I think about pantheism, I think it's the same thing. It correlates that I'm getting so pumped up about this. it just boggles my mind when I sit there and I listen to a group of people, and this is why I have a hard time with groups of friends, because it always seems like they're trying to bring somebody else down when the other person isn't around. And then when that person's around, they're talking about somebody else. I know this sounds so high school or middle school, but this happens as adults. It just isn't so obvious, I guess, because we're not in high school or middle school, or in any educational system. We're working, which is kind of the same in my opinion, except you're being paid for it. All I'm trying to get at is that I really truly believe in everybody is God, that we are all part of God, that God is within us, all of us, and we are all the same. No one is better, no one is any less. We as human beings have created statuses and levels of security to get to and acquire and judge people because they haven't gotten there. I mean, those are just opinions. I know my family, for instance, they want me to, be a part of the rat race. I am not successful unless I have completed every task that society has deemed successful in their eyes. Sorry, I really am not sorry, actually. I'm not going to say I'm sorry, because maybe, why is it that they're in the right? Why do I have to look at them and go, oh, yes, I feel so guilty because I'm not doing exactly what you guys thought was expected of you, and now that's supposed to be expected of me. Really, I feel like if they could look at it through my eyes, which, eventually they have, and I'm grateful for that, but I know really they still hold on to that. And it's fine, you just have to accept it. But it could be so much better if throughout my life they could have just been like, well, Sarah, this is obviously trying to get you to conform to something that you're resisting and isn't naturally acceptable for you. We should find what is naturally acceptable for you, what works for you. Because I'm going to tell you right now, everybody is different, and that's the beauty. I mean, we're all love. Created from, love and God and something really magical and beautiful. So, but at the same time, we all have our individualistic differences. But the core of us are all the same. And that's why we should appreciate each other and our differences. And nobody should be involved in a structurized educational system. That drives me nuts, but I'll get into that later. Because we are not all the same, and we should not be conformed like that. It's another thing that drives me nuts. I really hate it when people are like, oh, I hate my life. I'm, 28 years old. I'm not 28, but I'm 28 years old, and I should be, getting ready to find the love of my life and get married and have kids, and I should have my career job. I should be making, the least $30,000, and I should have my house in order, and my retirement plan and my 401k going, and I just am sitting there going, gosh, really? You're 28 years old, and this is what you have to think about every day of your life? You're so young. Kitty, you should be out there living, not sitting there stressing and letting these things overwhelm you, and just let it happen, because it will, when you can't force things to happen. You really can't. You can try really hard, but all you're going to do is really, you're going to find disappointment. And I don't know why anybody would want to welcome that into their life. I really don't. It's really sad to see people that I care about, and even people I don't know and probably will never meet, get consumed in the Joneses lifestyle and needing to feel accepted through media images that are portrayed to make you feel inadequate as a human being, and ugly, and oh my goodness, just thinking about the things that people do to feel like everybody else. They're trying so hard to fit in. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to be like everybody else? You're amazing because you're not like everybody else. You have something unique in you, and everybody has that. and all of you should be able to be awesome together because you're all unique. To be like everybody else is like you're losing all of who you are. It makes me really sad, especially because it happens at such a young age, and I feel like as the generations go on and I get older, the generations that are coming up, the younger this kind of thing they're being exposed to, and they don't get a chance to really find their individuality because they're always striving to look like what they're supposed to look like. I know I went on a tangent, and this is not going to be the last time I talk about it. I just don't want to bore you anymore on this topic, so I will leave it there. But on a happy note, let's just think about everybody. Like next time you see a person, I don't know if you live in the city or if you live out in the middle of nowhere, maybe in between. The next time you see a person and your immediate judgment is, oh, gross, or how come that person looks like they didn't shower in days, or why doesn't that person pluck their eyebrows, or that person isn't taking care of themselves because they have impurities. Really stop yourself and think, why do I feel that way? Why do I feel the need to place judgments on this person? Is that something that's coming with my own insecurities? And when you do think that, smile and wave to that person and say hello. I mean, really, does it kill you to say hello? No, and you just made someone's day by saying hello and smiling. And if it didn't make their day, well, you know what? They're just lying to you because it totally did. Okay, well, you made my day, and I hope I made yours. Mwah! Love you.